Welcome back to the Awakenings Podcast. I am here with Jeremy. Jeremy, sir, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Living the dream here at Meyer Drive, living the dream.
Sure.
Tell me, sir, how long have I been treating you? Do you remember? 2 years.
2 years now. Yep.
2 years now. So guess what? I actually did take a sneak peek at your chart, and it is this month, 2 years. 2-year anniversary. I think it's the end of the month. We're going to celebrate our 2-year anniversary, Jeremy.
Awesome.
How did you find us?
I think I found you guys online, to be honest with
Google? The Google machine sent you to me.
Correct.
Why did you even look? What were you looking for?
So a friend of mine who lives in South Carolina had talked about the pellet process and the hormone replacement therapy and everything, and said that he had really benefited from it. So I started looking in the area, and you were the first one that popped up.
Gotcha. So you were just like, I'm going to take a gamble with this vitality, health, and wellness. I'm going to shoot the dice. I love it. I love it. So then you came and saw me. We started out with a hormone lab panel, right? Came in, got some blood work, and then you came in and met me, right? What did we do?
We talked about some of the benefits from it, as far as fatigue, drive, your libido, a lot of different things.
Yeah. So we were talking specifically about starting to replace some testosterone on you.
That is correct.
And I don't remember numbers off the top of my head, but I want to say that your testosterone was, quote, normal when we met, was it not?
That or right below normal.
Right. Yeah, it was like right around. Had you ever, let me ask you this, had you ever talked to your family doc or any other provider about your symptoms or about your concerns for lowering testosterone levels?
I did when I lived in Chicago, but it was very brief.
Tell me about that.
I explained how I was extremely tired all the time. Couldn't stay motivated even if I ate healthy and tried to be active. And was told that's just part of getting older.
I love how you're like, was told that was just part of getting older. That is often what we are told. And it's not wrong necessarily because it is part of getting older, right? So the act of aging is the loss of hormones, right? But do we have to feel that way, right? That's the way I look at it. Do we need to suffer through aging?
We do not.
We don't. No. We don't, which is why you came and saw me. So what symptoms do you remember? What did you feel like before we met, before we started testosterone?
Just tired. Non-motivated. About noon, 1 o'clock, since I'm an early riser. It was after lunch. It would really, the lizard hours would really, I guess, set in.
Yeah.
And then, you would push through it with another cup of coffee or something else that was pretty unhealthy.
Yeah.
By the time you got home from work, you were just done.
So you were exhausted, but how'd you sleep?
Not good.
That's weird.
Very weird.
How is that? You're exhausted all day long. You go home and you're like laying down and you're like, nothing. Sleep is eluding you, evading you.
Right. You would think you would sleep like a bear.
Rock.
Yeah.
No. How's your sleep now?
Great.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So a little testosterone helped this sleep, helped the energy, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And pellet therapy. Tell me why you chose pellet therapy.
Well, so actually on your website, there was a lot of information about it. It even disclosed where the pellets were made. I believe it was in Texas.
That's right.
And, I was skeptical at first. The more I read about it, you hear so much about steroids. And I know this is not a steroids, but, the long
Well, I mean, technically it is. Technically, testosterone is a steroid, but it is a natural bioidentical hormone that we have. It's not a synthetic, roid like from the gym.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Won't harden your heart valves.
Yes.
A lot of things. So that was a big reason for it. All the information was available.
Yeah.
Then after speaking with you and going over all my labs, I was excited for it.
Yeah. We had talked about maybe even doing creams, right?
Yes.
Why did you not pick creams?
Because I was told this was more effective.
Okay. Had you, I know you now after about 2 years, do you think that you would have been compliant with creams?
Probably not. Probably not.
That tends to be the biggest thing with creams, right?
Yep.
So I generally tell people I can get you to the same finish line. sometimes takes a little longer with creams, with dose adjustments and things like that. But compliance tends to be the biggest issue. You can start and stop creams whenever you want, but you can also forget creams whenever you want.
Yeah.
Right?
So when you're working 60 hours a week and have kids, things fall to the wayside or you don't have time.
You don't have time.
It's reality.
So you come in and see me a couple times a year. I put some pellets in your back. You set it, you forget it, and you move on about your business.
Correct.
Right? And
That
it
is
just
correct.
takes a huge load off of you and puts everything within my power and control.
Yep.
Do you remember that first pellet procedure? Do you remember how you felt that first 6-8 weeks?
Yes. Totally different.
Yeah.
Like I was 20.
Yeah.
almost. Honestly, I mean, I had a lot more energy, a lot more drive in a lot of ways. So,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I looked through your second visit note before we sat down together, just because I honestly was trying to refresh my memory how long I've been treating you. And I'm a big quoter of people in their chart. I like to use your words. So I've pulled a quote from your chart. This was 6 weeks after treating you. You said, I no longer feel like an old man that naps all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
End quote.
Yeah.
End quote. So you noticed a reduction in the need to nap.
Yeah. And Red Bulls and coffee. For sure. And I did not like Red Bulls, but I would hammer one.
You would hammer them. And you have a pretty
Absolutely.
stressful job too.
It's very demanding.
Yeah, you work
Yep.
a lot of hours and
Yep.
on call, aren't you?
I am.
You're kind of 24/7, got to be ready to go.
That is correct.
Which is negatively impacting you, right? Overall, right?
Sure.
Your cortisol is going to be a little higher than an average person, which is going to negatively impact your testosterone levels. So all those things are really important. How do you think that testosterone replacement therapy has changed your life in the last 2 years?
It's given me more balance.
Okay.
I get better sleep.
Okay.
I'm able to stay more engaged and more focused and not get a quick fix, which we all know doesn't last very long.
With the quick fix, you're talking like caffeine
Yeah.
or even alcohol to relax sometimes, right? Yeah,
Yep.
to help you sleep. You think, oh, I can't sleep. I'll just take a glass of bourbon,
Correct.
right? Something like that. Yeah, very cool. Let me ask you, have you had any negative side effects, any negative experiences since you've started on testosterone replacement
not.
therapy? You
No.
haven't?
You can tell, or at least I can, at the end.
Mhm. So when you're due for your next pellet round.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yep. You
Mhm.
can tell when it's wearing off.
Mhm. Tell me about that.
Uh,
Do you crash? Are you like, oh my gosh, like I'm at the bottom of the barrel, like this is awful?
No.
Okay.
It's not like you wake up one day with no energy and you can't move.
Yeah.
But you can slowly feel it over probably a 2-3 week period where you just don't have the giddy up.
Yeah. So in the giddy up, I love that. So, and I actually tell you in your visit that I want that. Right?
Yes,
I
that's
want
correct.
you to experience mild symptom return a week or two before you come see me.
Yes.
And the reason for that is, again, going back to my gas tank analogy, I don't make you draw blood every single time I pellet you. I don't, because I treat you and your symptoms. I don't treat your blood, right? So if you come in here and you're like, woo, I feel like a rock star and I'm going to run a marathon, then I'm like, ooh, I'm about to overflow that gas tank and we're going to cause some problems. So when I know when you're coming down on a pellet cycle and you're noticing that mild symptom return just for a week or two is what I want, then I know, yep, we're ready. We're ready to top the tank off. So yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what I expect. Let me ask you, sir, my final question. I ask all my patients at the end of these little testimonials. Where do you think you would be if it were not for Vitality Health and Wellness, if you had not met me?
Ooh, a sloppy 250 with a pretty regular napping regimen, I would assume.
Okay,
In all
a
fairness.
sloppy 250.
Yeah.
We're not videoing this, so you do not weigh anywhere near.
No,
you're not
no.
even 200, are
No.
you?
And I'm about 250.
Nah, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
well, you carry it well, sir. You carry it well. That muscle. So a sloppy 250.
Without a doubt. And just tired.
Mhm.
Not maintaining good sleep. And,
Yeah.
everyone knows that the less sleep you get, you can usually push through a day or two, right? Before it really starts affecting your temperament and your
Yeah.
judgment ability, which
Yeah.
It's no good.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I know I said that was my last question, but I lied. And I talk a lot, so that is what it is. But so for you, like the lack of sleep and all that, you have kids.
I do. Teenage
You're
kids.
girls.
Girls, that
right?
is correct. Yes.
So have you noticed with testosterone, have you been able, like, has that affected your parenting? Like, if you think back to before parenting, or were you one of those that you were just like super dad regardless?
Oh.
Like, do you think like your patience has changed? Like
Yeah.
in your parenting, do you think that it's improved your parenting?
I think that my temperament's a little better. That or my kids have just beat me into submission. I would say that I'm a little more patient and understanding. Because you sleep better, you feel better.
And I'm not saying testosterone makes you a better dad, not at all. But yeah, you're right. You feel better, you live life better, and you're in a better mood. So yeah, you're absolutely going to affect your parenting.
Yep.
Jeremy, anything that I did not ask you that you're like, man, I really want your listeners to know about blank?
Yeah, actually, the process to have the pellets done right.
Yeah.
How painless it is. A little bit of Novocaine is what I call it.
Yeah.
Is that
Lidocaine.
Lidocaine.
Same thing.
So last February, I went out of the country to go diving, and I received the pellets 4 days before my trip.
Yeah, I had to glue you because you weren't going to not scuba dive.
Yeah.
Diving is scuba diving.
Yeah.
He's a big scuba diver.
Yeah, and I felt no issues. So, I mean, obviously a little tender from an incision, but I was able to dive. It's a painless
no
process.
issues. Yes,
Zero.
yes. I love that you put that in, that you bring that up, because that can be a barrier for some people with pellets, because it is an incision. It is a minor surgical procedure, right? Minor surgical procedure,
Sure.
a little bit of lidocaine, a little bit of incision, doesn't take too long at all, but that can be nerve-wracking, very nerve-wracking for some patients. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
And you feel like recovery from the procedure, no time at all.
No. Like I said, 4 days later, I was in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So
living life.
yeah,
Living life. When you going diving next?
October 11th.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I can't wait to see you back in the office. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Yep.